looking for him. He has Blink coming off cooldown in a couple seconds. Skewer's already used, and Mirko should be fine, pulling, tethering to his allies. He's running back and forth.
Visage birds too. If they hit him and he good tether.
Tether back out.
That went pretty well for first departure, considering the Drill Ranger's probably a bit more farmed than CK here. Like a lot more farmed actually, and it was really actually unfortunate how it started from him. He did a reality rift, but because the Drill Ranger's standing next to the trees, he didn't actually get that instant stun on him. Instead, the Drill sort of got pushed aside, which let him get his BKB off, which made the fight a lot harder. If they'd been able to burst that Drill down, I could actually even see them taking that fight maybe 3-2.
Well, here's the thing right now. Drow Ranger's not win this fight. It's basically a 4v5 push if Rattlesnake will choose to take this push. I actually felt that that was a decent fight here for Rattlesnake, simply for the fact that you have RP up, they don't have wall. Wall's actually one of the huge damage output source, and I think they're going to wait for Drow Ranger to walk down mid, and they did take a decisive fight when that wall, unfortunately, by the time that she gets back, wall's back up. This is accept the wall. This is something, one of the more impressive team fight item against this particular lane synergy.
It really is, like, especially taking that Drill Ranger illusion. Drill Ranger basically gets most of her damage from agility, just because they're also. Wow, that bear dies fast.
Yeah, Medallion. I guess from Visage. Yeah, from Visage.
Yeah.
Right clicks. That bird dead. That bear dead.
He needs to put his Basti ring onto his bear, I feel, just for that one extra aura even.
Well, here we go. Defensive disruption, creating a low illusion. Scripter walks in. Scripter is dead. You can see the Shadow Fiend ultimate immediately trying to blow away his illusion. The bear is going to get right click down, a couple more hits. And where's the actual real bear? He is on the run. Lamb looking for the RP. No RP just yet. Lubby still Shockwave trying to get it. He's going to get burst down by the disruption. Back in the lane though, as Rax is bringing flame just yet. You do see the Aegis being used. They want focusing down. He does not have Aegis. The bird's on the top lane. That's going to be a 3-second stun. Oh, vacuum into the wall himself.
Wow.
BKB gets used. No, BKB's down here. Luo's gonna get brought down second time. Defensive disruption being used. He pops a Manta, still right-clicking going. The damage output is so much. Hannah's trying to run away. He doesn't actually get it out alive. Wardhouse, the bear's actually focused on Kabu. I'm not too sure whether that's the correct focus, but if they really want the bear dead, they could just Medallion and focus down so quickly. Look at that's exactly what's gonna happen right now. I think Rattlesnake's gonna take this Rax, and that should
Ooh,
be
Visage. And that was like the best play by Darkseid there. He managed to, well actually, I think it's sort of luck at that point, but he vacuumed the Meg, blinked into it, got him into the wall, delayed the RP for that long. If he didn't do that, he had a 3-man RP and they probably would just taken throne here. Even with that, Rattlesnake still takes the fight quite handily.
Yeah, and that's going to be the second lane of Rex. No range Rex there. The range Rex did fall down due to the chaos in the mid lane earlier, and the fact that Shadow Fiend didn't have to die and buy back, or the IC survived the fight, where you lost the Shadow Demon and Magnus for that fight, yeah, you know, I mean that's a great fight that you take for Rattlesnake. Up to now, 15,000 goal lead. Is there going to be a miraculous comeback here from FD? Can their heroes actually do it? You're the lone drip player for your team. You know the limit of this hero. There is a butterfly on the Shadow Fiend. He's got lifesteal now, and of course we saw how quickly the bear dies. Drill Ranger is going to have 2k, and that's going to be yet another item. I simply don't think they can make this comeback. Your thoughts, AEI?
No, if you're down 10k against their carry with your carry, it's really hard unless you have something that scales ridiculously well against something that doesn't scale so well. And Shadow Fiend, while he's probably not the best super late game carry, he has super late game carry items against sort of a mid game carry items from
so
the
butterfly against your
like once he gets Satanic, I can't see anything killing him ever.
And of course, if they want to wait a couple more minutes, they can get the Roshan on top of it as well. In terms of their high ground siege ability, you saw Drow Ranger popping her head forward, Manta illusions being used, Shadow Demon illusion being used. So if they want to do a prolonged siege on the bot lane, they can do it as well. It all rests to me on the back of the Darkseer, at least for now, to get some sick Darkseer wall off. But it seems like Rattlesnake has found the answer to that as well. Shadow Fiend just pops the BKB and basically uses Requiem Soul and tries his best to blow away all those illusions. And so far, it's not exactly the most effective thing to throw at it, but it's probably the best thing that Rattlesnake's got.
Yeah, it works quite well. The thing is, like, if you look at Rattlesnake's lineup, like, they need to kill all their heroes. Like, you never really want to initiate on a carry against a team that has a Shadow Demon. You usually want to kill the Shadow Demon first. But Shadow Fiend's damage output is just so much. Jor has that aura. Visage is going to continuously nuke people. It's a really high DPS output in teamfights, actually. And Meg, you want to start the RP. So basically all of their heroes are priority targets. And they don't have the farm to do that. Like, you need CK with Armlet, Heart, at a Manta probably at this point in order to really have a good team fight against them.
Well, he's got Ogre X, and that's definitely not enough to do the big AoE damage or the quick focus damage that you were mentioning, Drew. I do actually want to ask you a quick question as we're having continuous amount of pauses and disconnects. Is that Shadow Demon somehow found himself a Blink Dagger? Like, somehow as a support, you get a couple of tower kills, you get a couple of kills on the carry, and suddenly you get a buttload of gold. Hi, welcome back to the booth. Why Blink Dagger? I mean, there's Force Staff, there's Yule Scepter, there's, I mean, if you want Dagon, there's that too. Why Blink, for example? Is this something just to jump to your ally and defensively disrupt, or is it more of an offensive
it sort
item?
of guarantees that you get the disruption off. Blink Dagger also, so if the CK TPs straight on you with the Wisp, and you don't react immediately, sometimes the Force Staff range actually isn't enough.
Okay.
But honestly, at this point, he could get whatever he wants.
Right.
Dagon's actually not that bad on Shadow
It
Demon
kills
this
the
game.
Wisp quick.
Yeah, you Soul Catcher Stun, you Dagon them, they die.
Yeah, so it's not bad.
He could really go anything he wanted. I do like the Blink Dagger actually. What it also allows him to do is it really lets them just pick someone. Like, he has the better potential to do that, which while the game is in their favor very heavily, it will allow them to end it quickly if they
So,
get one
but this
pick.
is not exactly, you see somebody in their base, you jump in, disrupt. This is not that type of initiating thing.
No, I don't see it so much as that, although that wouldn't be bad just because they have the Meg.
Mhm.
You disrupt someone, they all converge on you, Meg gets a good RP,
Okay.
Shadow Fiend kills everyone with right clicks.
Mostly defensive purposes that he's been using it to add a slight benefit of the offensive. For anybody that's joining us, this is game 1 of FD versus Rattlesnake. The camera's on us because AUI has good hair and we want to see more of it on camera, and also we have it a little bit paused, so we're good? Yeah, we're waiting for the game to happen, so yeah.
Are you saying we don't have good hair?
We have more hair.
Well, what hair I have is great. That's all I'm saying.
I do want to say that was a good haircut. Good haircut.
Thanks.
I know. It was ridiculous before. Blitz.
What did you call me again?
It,
I think he said on the creepometer is like a 10 out of
no, I think you're 10.
The
You're
game's
grade
back.
A creeper.
grade
Alright.
A creeper. All right, back to the game.
All right, back to the game.
Jeez.
All right, looks like we are going to be rotating. A big smoke gang coming out from final departure. I think this is Fairy Dragon's kind of last hurrah.
It's a
trying to-
desperation smoke.
Yeah, desperation smoke.
There's-
Look for a pickoff.
There's basically no chance that a 5-man smoke works at this point, because Rattlesnake they group as 5, they wait for a lane to push in. If you don't defend, hey, they're smoked, and your Rax is dying to creeps, and you can't really take a 5v5 engagement there.
Looks like Lobby's going to come forward. You got to be careful where you cred. The bear comes in as well. RP, that's going to be on the 2. Very, very important hero. Skewers through the Shadow Fiend. Requiem, so a little bit too slow. Silence was used here from the Drow Ranger. I'm not sure why he cancelled actually, but looks like they're going to focus here on the actual bear himself. He gets Purge, he gets Ice Arrow. He does actually pop his Gold Scepter. The wall's actually doing some little work. Luo getting focused by all the illusion defensively disrupt here. He should be able to survive. CK whips, doing some work. Luo's actually going to die here. Pops some Manta, trying to life to the silverback, and he's still going to survive. Oh no, Scripted says, I'm going to take you to hell with me. They actually get the kill. Buyback coming from Shadow Fiend.
Oh, and Darkseid pops.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a good fight, a good heroic fight. They brought down both Shadow Fiend as well as Drow Ranger. Some really good focus fire, but at the end of the day, it's kind of the 3 utility heroes surviving, and you really can't do too much about it. GG's gonna get called by first departure. They know the writing's on the wall. But despite everything's gonna happen, I say a very impressive performance. You don't see them kind of kneeling down and dying to a team. They kind of gave a good fight. And to be honest, they gave me, as well as Rattlesnake, kind of something to be scared about. When that melee Rax was going down, I was like, this is not supposed to be happening. This is kind of crazy.
It's scary when stuff happens that you don't expect to.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in positions where you're up by 10,000 gold, and suddenly when you lose a melee Rax, like something completely unexpected happens. How does that affect your team in terms of your mental psyche when you should be dominating and you're not exactly really dominating?
Well, I think more than anything, you become a bit confused. Like, why is this happening?
Right.
It's a bit worse when you if you lose a team fight because like something happens, like someone gets picked out, they don't get spells off or something like that. But losing a Rax it's just confusing. But I think Rattlesnake they were very composed.
Mhm.
They just played it out, they farmed it out, They pushed when they needed to. They got picks when they needed to. All their heroes got items, and they took good team fights.
So kind of like a day in the walk of the park. That was game number 1 for Rattlesnake. They are up 1 game in this best of 3 series. FD gotta step it up, and I don't think they play poorly this game. What was the turning point here for them?
Really, I think it was just low
laning
levels on the
stage?
supports. Not having the pull, just giving. They gave the Drill Ranger and the Solage way too much EXP. And that also meant that the Shadow Demon didn't have to stay there. Like, not dewarding that camp. Basically, when Shadow Fiend is lane, it let the Solage Drill Ranger break evenish in their lane, which basically means you win if your long lane's breaking even against the short lane. It let mid sort of go even because the Shadow Demon was able to camp there, move the Wisp out because he thought he couldn't do anything because he didn't even try to pull mid. That's what really confuses me. I'm not too sure if they don't know they can do it or like I don't know. Maybe they consider it cheesy, but I would do anything to win in the TI qualifiers. So
Yeah, so, well, apparently pulling mid was not a good enough tactic or not even a thought of tactic for first departure. But it was a really, really rough game despite kind of mid-game heroics. We'll send it back to the caster and analyst table right now and see what they think about that game. Really, really crazy one. LD and, of course, Merlini, what do you guys think?
Merlini, my big question was, are they going to get CK Wisp? What I didn't expect was they would get CK Wisp and then just get destroyed anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we just really didn't see it effectively at all. Wisp tried to rotate top. Darkseer still died a couple of times. Mag just got all the farm in the world in middle and all the levels, and that's just really, really important in being able to utilize that really early effective game. Again, we didn't really see many relocate Wisp ganks. We saw the one kind of one to get the range racks on bottom, but again, that was not worth it after losing those 2 heroes. I mean, Wisp is decent, but it just seems like the Wisp CK just, I mean, it just didn't really seem to work that well.
You know, the one thing I really loved about their lineup was when you have Shadow Fiend and Drow Ranger, you get to the mid game, these heroes don't offer you any disables, but they give you so much damage as a unit that Wisp just melts in team fights. You do not get to do a whole lot. You don't get to stick around. And Miracle actually lived a lot longer than I thought he would, but it also gives you insane pushing power. And
Yeah.
they were able to base trade with a lone druid with a Wisp tethered to the bear. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, they can just right-click the bear, too. Usually, you're like, oh, my God, run away unless we get rooted. But they're just like, okay, we'll just kill the bear. No problem. And that's a really big threat to them. Again, I kind of agree with that. They didn't really get too much out of the early game, and the supports just didn't do a good job of shutting down Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger is so weak early game. No precision armor. I mean, level 2 silence versus a bear, whoop-de-doo. Like, level 4, I mean, they could still kill him. But why is Drow Ranger level 4 that early in the game? And I just think that these supports from First Departure need to do a little bit of a better job of keeping up on par with the supports from Rattlesnake.
They basically, like Lumi and AUI said, won all 3 lanes with a Drow Ranger and a Shadow Fiend. That almost never happens. In Rattlesnake, they play really well in game 1. They give away the CK Wisp, then they punish it. They take that game. Of course, though, the guys, this is a best of 3. Game 2 is going to be coming up next. Rattlesnake versus First Departure. If First Departure loses this game, they will be done. Their run will end here in the International 3 East qualifiers. We'll find out what's going to happen next. Game 2 coming up right after this break.
Oh, there's the sleep, the surge, he catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in, Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Daddy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga cannon. It's Light of Heaven. What does BKB? They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd.
of nature is torment, suffering, and decay. But only the wisest see this, which is to say, only the Shrek.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to first departure versus Rattlesnake. You guys are confused. It's early. It's early here in LA. This is a best of 3 series, game number 2, and Rattlesnake is up 1 game. I am Luminous. Here's Aoi, our tactical genius here at the casting table. What do you got for us for game 2?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is that first departure can't lose the early game so hard. I think that if you're going against a Shadow Fiend, a Drill Ranger, and a Meg, those are 3 heroes that are not known for their early game at all. They're actually quite bad early game.
Well, Magnus is not bad. Like, he doesn't
Early game, he doesn't really win mid.
Sure.
And usually he loses mid by 10 CS. 10
Okay.
CS at 10 minutes. Right? You see in 40 CS, 10 minutes. Other hero usually has 50. Shadow Fiend. Okay, Dark
He's
Silver.
not really a hero. Yeah.
He's a big range creep early on.
yeah.
At level 1, he's a range creep.
Yeah.
And Drill Ranger, range creep with a slow.
That's pretty good range creep, though.
Yeah, it's range creep with a slow though.
Okay.
And if you pick something like a Lone Druid, really good early. Darkseer, really good early. You need to make use of those early game heroes. CK West, really good early too. Especially in that sort of situation. Not getting those levels off early, it settled the entire game. And one thing that does give me hope for first departure is that if you look at their sort of mid game, late game team fight, even though they were so behind, they still managed to take fights. They still managed to take a Rax. And they made things happen that shouldn't have been able to happen. So imagine if they're equal.
Imagine if they're ahead.
Imagine if they're ahead.
Game 3 yesterday.
Based on the lane step, I really do think they should have came out on head on that. I think that they had superior lanes in that game. And I don't know, it still just baffles me so much. They placed a ward for mid so that they could see if the aggressive trialing was coming to gank them. And that ward makes it so safe to pull. And then they just didn't pull.
Right.
I hate to harp on it so much, but 2 pulls would have won them the game, I think.
It's just small type of missed opportunity. You didn't make the pull mid. I think he smoked or invis up top to set up a gank with Darkseer. Didn't get anything done there. On the bot lane, Rubik was twiddling his thumb, didn't get any pull because the ward got blocked off, and he didn't deward it till 3 minutes in. And in a pub game, you'd be like, yeah, I'll deward it 3 minutes in, I pull and slow catch up. In a pro game, they punish you for that. And 3 minutes in, the damage has been done. Shadow Fiend is winning his lane, and Magnus not dying mid has won his lane. And of course, even trade on bot, that means you won the lane there. So even though it's only 3 minutes, probably the most kind of game-changing 3 minute for Rattlesnake here in that game 1. So.
It pretty much is. And I don't know. Wisp was level 1 at 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Rubik
he was
level 2.
roaming across the world. So game 2, what we're looking at is basically the same thing. Whether support on the Radiant or on the first departure side could get out of the jungle or get out of the lanes as much as they are designed to do, and how will the support for the for the Rattlesnake team could adjust. This is so damn confusing. Just me? First departure.
Rising Stars.
Rattlesnake. Thank you, Ben. All right, we're going to be jumping into game, and I do, again, apologize for all the name mishaps. Trust me, it will continue on throughout the Eastern qualifiers as we're broadcasting by the BTS. Rattlesnake on the Radiant side, they're up 1 game this best of 3 series. 1 more win will let them advance on. Of course, first departure need to fight to stay alive. It's going to be the Wisp and Nyx Assassin ban once again. So despite the fact that Wisp wasn't really the kind of the game-winning factor, it was really annoying hero for them to deal with. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's going to be Bat Rider and Lifestealer, and that means Lone Druid, Magnus, some of these kind of key early game heroes can be picked up here. Let's see what Rattlesnake settles for. What would you pick here if you're Rattlesnake? You kind of understand their playstyle. LD kind of calls it a little bit similar to Dignitas. They're going to go with the Clockwork.
I like that actually a lot. What Clockwork does here is that he's very good against Mag mid. Like I keep saying that no one has really done it yet, but I think he beats Meg the hardest out of every hero.
Yeah.
Maybe OD beats him harder, but OD is sort of silly in lane that way. So
well, you'll like Tomfu a lot because that's what they run. They run solo mid clock against solo mid mag, and you talked about the laning stage, how he kind of has the edge mid game. Rocket scouts, hook shot, counter initiate.
He's just very good against Meg the entire game. And the thing is about Clock, like when I sort of do a draft, I love my first field picks to be very versatile. Like you pick Clockwork, you have no idea what the other team's gonna do. He can go support, he can go mid, he can go long lane, he can go anywhere. And that's what I really like. And they pick up the Shadow, which is incredibly popular in the Asian scene right now, I guess.
Do you think the popularity is justified? Do you think
he's a good support.
Why is he not really picked up in?
Oh, he is picked up in the Western scene too.
Yeah, but not first pick. I mean,
situationally first pick.
It's not your Nyx Assassin. It's not your Rubik. It's not your. Comparing to the other supports.
Recently, like Nyx has been picked a lot less though, and Shadow has been picked a lot more. So I don't really want to make that comparison without sort of it stabilizing a bit more. I think the playstyle is a tad different too. Like if we look at here like Gyro, he's quite good against Shadow Demon, for example, in the mid game, whereas Gyro's not as heavily picked in the Asian scene. Whereas he is starting to get picked, but he's just starting. And this is Darkseer Clockwork Jug. I wonder if they're going to do that Darkseer Clockwork dual lane that we saw
from last game or 2 games ago when they did it against Dreams. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a lane that on paper you're like, what is actually going on here? But if you try to make a dive against this lane and they have their level 2, and that's a critical part, they need level 2, right? The cogs, the surge, it makes it so difficult for them to get the kills. It just feels like Rattlesnake is building these lanes that are unkillable. Juggernaut, whatever initiation you see spins away.
I think now they picked up the Meg. I don't think they'll do the Clockwork Darkseer anymore. I think it'll definitely be a Clockwork mid here. Darkseer, he's still open to going offlane, still open to going jungle. You could even short lane solo him, have the Jug an aggressive try. This is pretty strong. I think Darkseer actually does better against Lone Druid in Darkseer's short lane instead of his long lane, which is sort of weird because against most heroes, Darkseer does a lot better in his long lane just because he can creep skip, he can poke creeps better, he can farm the jungle better. But that's one, because if the Lone Druid plays it well in Darkseer's long lane, I feel like Lone Druid can right click him and pull the creeps around with his bear and just completely win the lane.
Okay. Yeah, this is I've heard many kind of pro players talk about the Darkseer Lone Druid matchup. It's actually very complicated. It's not as clear cut as, oh, you creep skip and I hit creeps. It's definitely really back and forth. But let's quickly jump into the second ban phase. That's both teams trying to exile a couple of support heroes. It's going to be Leshrac and Keeper of Light here for Rattlesnake, Silencer and Rubik here for first departure. And first, Rattlesnake is a team that's not afraid to use the support silence to shut down Magnus, to shut down Bat Rider, as well as a couple of other heroes. And I'm personally very happy to see a support silencer making a return to the pro scene. He is going to eat a ban here. No kind of real sign of what the carry hero is for the Rattlesnake, and it's hard to actually predict them because one game they go Kunkka, another game they go Shadow Fiend Drow.
Kunkka's actually really good for them here.
Yeah, Kunkka is great here. I mean, we saw them go mid last time. They could actually just stay flank carry. It's getting to a part where you have a ton of melee heroes against Magnus and Lone Druid. I'm not too sure whether that's something to be a little bit of a worry, but from now they're doing okay.
I really like the Rubik ban just because he can steal RP and he works really well in the Jug aggressive. I don't think, like, the lift is just so good with the spin, just because it moves them into position for spin as well as stunning.
Moves them into those cogs too, or keeps them in the cogs, depending how you look at it. We're looking at the second pick phase here. Rattlesnake most likely going to be picking up one more support and perhaps a harder carry. I think Juggernaut's not exactly your heavy duty carry hero unless they want to go really, really early game. Meanwhile, First departure probably looking for something like an off lane or a carry on
10
their
seconds
safe lane,
remaining.
and then the secondary support.
I mean, Jug is actually surprisingly strong late game if you
5
play him
seconds
as a late game
remaining.
hero. Like you.
So don't go face drum.
Well, I
early.
would still go face drums on him,
Mhm.
just because
Reserve time.
he can use that to get kills. Like if you're getting kills, the EXP carries you through towards the late game. Like EXP is so important.
Often
And-
underrated.
Yeah, it's so underrated. But you need to get like a battle fear on him then.
Okay.
And regardless, pretty much of most situations, battle fear is just really good on him in this metagame, just because you need to push lanes out really quickly.
Sure. Yeah.
And the cleave is nice. The regen's nice. Damage is decent, so yeah.
Speaking of cleave, we're gonna have Magnus dropping his melee buff on somebody else. Any thoughts on what the actual carry is here for Armageddon first departure? I mean, they don't have to pick another one. I mean, Lone's a fine, sufficient carry. So far, we're gonna see a Weaver
Dire
being picked
team
up.
pick.
All right.
There is not too many really true disables. I guess there is a RP. That's really the big thing. I'm not really sure how I'm in love with this hero in this particular situation. It seems okay, but it also seemed like it might not be enough damage.
I think damage-wise, it's not too bad. You have Omni Slash, you have Darkseer's a lot of damage with the double Iron Shell. Weaver's actually decent damage. I think the thing that they lack the most is like some
10
lockdown.
seconds
Mhm.
remaining.
They really just have the clockwork, and Vacuum doesn't really count.
Okay.
They
5
may stuff Omni
seconds
Slash, but
remaining.
that doesn't really count either. I'm sort of curious what first departure is going to go here. I actually, speaking of the Weaver, I
Reserve
wonder if they
time.
picked that Weaver like as a fourth pick just because they thought first departure was going to pick it. But
So and really punish them even further for the lack of lockdown on the Radiant side.
yeah, but I don't really know. I don't know if I would have liked Weaver on first departure either. But it seems like they're taking a long time with their pick here, so maybe they did have Weaver in mind.
Okay.
Usually, if you go, like you take a more than a minute on a pick, it's because their draft confused you.
Yeah. I mean, these are very standard heroes, right? It's Druid, it's
It's-
Mag, it's Shadow Demon.
For first departure, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But I think they're trying to figure out like what Rattlesnake's lanes are, because their lanes they can actually do a lot with their lanes. So they can even put Juggernaut middle versus Meg, with the Clocker as a support. There's a lot of options for them.
So when you're not really sure what they're kind of doing with their lanes, how does that affect your strat? Do you kind of just pick what's good for you and be like, yeah, Jakiro's pretty good here as a support, combos from an RP, or do you kind of, go down to 10 seconds and think,
10 seconds
read.
remaining.
Well, I would actually love Jakiro here for them.
no, they're gonna go with
Visage.
Visage, which is a hero that on the back of their day one victory on game 3, Miracle played him really well in terms of initiating, but Shadow Demons
Skyrath.
Dire
is that a
team
support?
It should be a support Skyrath.
There's like literally 5 solo mid heroes right now for